Welcome back to this already the final segment of today's Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Bryce, talking to you about you and your business. Do you want to mention our very good friends over there at Coaching Through Chaos? And it's a great radio program, one of the official podcasts of priceofbusiness.com. And so make sure you check that out. Excellent stories over there. Interesting story, interview about the role of ants in family lives. And so it's an interesting story. Check that out. Plus, do want to remind you that our friends at Brilliant Energy are giving away a $50 gift card for anyone who signs up for their excellent energy. I'm a client of Brilliant Energy by going through the priceofbusiness.com page. So make sure you check that out. And so, and do want to mention, of course, today's program brought to you in part by our friends at BrilliantEnergy.com. Last segment, we talked about the One America News Network. Wanted to give you a sampling of the offerings you're doing over there with this audio.
Turkey and the United States are entering into an agreement to create an ISIS-free zone along Turkey's border with Syria. And the two sides are formalizing a pact that allows the U.S. to use a U.S. military air base to stage strikes against ISIS forces inside Syria. Now, this is a big boost to the American operation in the Middle East. However, this newfound alliance crosses other borders in the war against ISIS that aren't as clearly defined. Turkey has been under mounting pressure from the U.S. to block the flow of ISIS fighters through its territory. Last week's ISIS attack on Turkish soil pushed the government into action. But while creating this ISIS-free zone along the border would be a good step in that direction, it also directly conflicts with Kurdish claims in the region. Turkey and the Kurds have been at odds over territory since 1984, and Ankara views the Kurds in the area as dangerous militant rebels. However, the Kurds are also major U.S. allies in the fight against Islamic terrorists in Syria and Iraq. Now, this ISIS-free zone Turkey is proposing cuts right through the heart of Kurdish territory, blocking a 60-mile corridor between Kurdish lands. Now, as you can see on this map, there's a green section along the top that's split in two. That's Kurdish territory, and the break is precisely where the Turks are proposing the ISIS-free zone. The leaders of the pro-Kurdish party in Turkey claim that the new strategy is nothing more than the Turkish president's attempt to snuff out Kurdish ambitions for their own land.
Turkey officially says that it is carrying out this war against Daesh and the PKK. But in reality, when you see the effects of the war, the airstrikes, all of that, you see that the true war is against the Kurdish people.
Now, the Kurds make up to 25% of the Turkish population, yet they've been politically and culturally repressed for decades. Ankara views many of the Kurds fighting in Syria as no better than the ISIS militants and even labels them as a terrorist organization. In addition to the swathe of Kurdish territory Turkey is cutting out for the ISIS-free zone, it's also begun bombing Kurdish forces in Syria and Iraq. Turkish forces carried out several airstrikes against the Kurds in northern Iraq on Tuesday night after receiving full political support from NATO. Both Kurds and Iraq are condemning the attacks, claiming that Turkey is violating its sovereignty. All of this puts the U.S. in a difficult position since it needs the use of its airbase in Turkey as well as the support from both Turkey and the Kurds in the fight against ISIS. However, so far, Turkey's strikes against the Kurds have been far stronger than its attacks on ISIS terrorists. Worse still, any Kurdish victories against ISIS, which are also a victory for the U.S., are seen as hostile acts by Turkey. And with an Islamist-friendly government, Turkey's role in the coming conflict remains in doubt. I'm Pearson Sharp.
Good stuff there. We're delighted to have them on the program today. I'm delighted that there's another competing network out there. There's a desperate need for really different news sources. What did you think of them? I thought it was kind of a cool concept. Marsha?
You know, it's great information. It was solid information, and it's not left or right. I like what he was talking about earlier, saying that it should be, you know, more centered. And you made the point. People need to think for themselves. And right now we're being spoon-fed all our thoughts by the
mostly
left or the right.
Toxicities at that.
Yes, exactly. The extremes.
Yeah, the extremes. And so I like it. I think you'll be hearing more about it here on The Price of Business. Ask your cable provider for it if you don't get it. And meanwhile, I want to hope you have a great rest of your day. Do want to remind you, the show continues 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com. And the best content here shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. While they're like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter. Have a great day, spending it right here